Yo guys, what's going on and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for the Italian Grand Prix, round 14 of the season. If you guys missed the last episode for the Belgian Grand Prix, round 13, then watch the episode guys by clicking on the card in the top right hand corner of your screen to go watch that race before we jump into this one and any further spoilers. Now for this race, of course, we are at Italy, the Temple of Speed at Monza, and that is Ferrari's home race, so the pressure to perform is on. And as you can see, the weather conditions this weekend are pretty decent. No real chance of rain. There was a little bit of rain in FP1 though, to be fair, but overall a dry weekend is upon us. And upgrade wise, we actually got a pretty decent upgrade package. Unfortunately, the drag reduction on the barge balls did fail, but we did get the crucial engine power upgrades, which is what we want for this circuit. And as you can see, as a consequence of those upgrades, we are going to re-overtake Mercedes at top spot in the R&D rat race. And also towards the bottom there, Williams are no longer the slowest team. They're actually third from bottom now, sorry. So good progress from them. But jumping into practice here, and like I mentioned, FP1 was actually a little bit wet, to be fair, but still, we did a track acclimatization, we did the race strategy and the qualifying pace, and it went pretty well. Got a good amount of points put away, and the car was working pretty decently, to be fair. I will admit, the pace was concerning me a little bit because I did some time trial practice because, as you guys know, I got a new wheel recently, and Belgium was my first race with it, and the difficulty was a little bit on the harder side. 108 was a bit harder for me. I was debating whether to go down or not for this track, but I decided to stick with 108% AI and not go for any changes. And to be fair, it was actually a good call in fairness, because I think it gave it a good balance. And after doing some time trial practice, the car felt good. I felt confident myself, and practice kind of confirmed that. But then when we jumped into qualifying, that AI actually found a lot of pace, which was quite surprising, and it kind of caught me off guard a bit, so I had to up my game, and we'll see if I did manage to actually respond to that AI's change in pace compared to practice. But currently you can see here, going to qualifying, everyone's getting ready, going through their preparations for this session, and it's such an important qualifying, this one, because the margins are so small. You know, like we saw in qualifying in real life last year in the 2018 Italian Grand Prix, it's so close, and slipstream can be literally so crucial to your overall lap time. And you know, do you go for sector 2 downforce, or do you go for more straight line speed through 1 and 3? You know, it's a big balance, and you want to try and weigh it all up. But I'm going to go for a pretty decent setup, to be fair. I'm running, I think, 4.4 wings and 4.4 ride height, so I've actually kept some air on the car for the middle sector. And in Q1, to be fair, went out under soft compound tyres, and you saw a little bit scruffy through the chicane there, getting a poor exit, a little bit of oversteer, and then through the Lesmo, running a little bit wider onto the curb. And overall, I'm actually showing this part of the lap because it was quite scruffy, to be fair. Sector 2 was really the place where I threw away a lot of my lap time, didn't really attack the curbs, and overall, luckily, it's only Q1, so we can get away with a bit of a worse lap time. But through sector 1, we was actually quickest, and we dropped 8 tenths in the middle sector alone, so it was really poor middle sector. There were a lot of mistakes, very scruffy, and then eventually we would end up the lap, and did a pretty okay final sector in the end, and 9 tenths off the pace for P6. Not great, but still not too bad. And we're in amongst it with the big boys, and that lap should be good enough to get us through into Q2. Eventually we would drop down a little bit, down to P10 actually. Others would improve elsewhere. The Racing Point cars going very well here in qualifying, and the benchmark was set. The low 1 minute 19s is what the AI were doing, and they were quick around here, really quick, especially the Mercedes. You know, Butler and Lewis really set the benchmark there. But we're now moving to Q2, and I went for the mediums on my first run. And to be fair, I didn't really have total pace. In Q1, Seb went for the mediums and then 1 minute 20.2, and he was actually quicker than my lap in Q1 on soft. So I knew that I had to find a lot of pace, and it wasn't a great lap. It wasn't terrible, and it felt pretty okay, but just the medium tire just wasn't quick enough. We do actually do a 1 minute 20.2, which matches Vettel's time on mediums in Q1, which actually gave me a bit of encouragement to see that I can go a little bit quicker than this. And up until this point, the quickest lap this weekend I could do was a 22. Every single time, a 20.2 is what I was doing, regardless of the hot lap, and I couldn't go faster. I couldn't get near a 119, but then on this lap here in Q2, I stepped it up big time, and I really started to feel the groove, feel the confidence, and this is what I meant by, can I respond to that AI's change in pace in terms of how much quicker they got in qualifying? And I did. I found a lot of time through sectors 1, especially sector 2. A lot of time was found through there. Frascari, really good run through the chicane, and the lap was really coming together really nicely with a purple sector 1 as well.
2 minutes remaining in the session. We need a good lap here, or we're out of qualifying.
And of course, on cue, as Jeff tells me, we are going to deliver here as we now go through the parabolica here. Good exit, nice and tidy, and we're currently P11. We're actually out of Q2, but we do improve to P4 on the soft tyres, and only 1/10 off of the pace. So overall, a much better lap time there into the mid 119s, and a very, very good lap for me. By far the quickest lap of the weekend by some way, to be fair. Like, even in practice when I've done the qualifying performance test, I did a 1:20.2, so I was really happy with that lap, and it kind of told me that I did have some pace in store, and also discovered some things in that lap which gave me more pace. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have 2 runs in Q3 and see if I can try and match or improve on that. And to be fair, my first run wasn't my best lap, so we're going to stay on board now for this first lap. Straight away, turn 1, you're on a break just before the 100-meter board. Really attack the inside curb here, and then do not touch the second one on the left-hand side, because that one does destabilise the car. Focus on your exit, get good traction out of turn 2, and now we go flat out through turn 3 at Curva Grande, and now we're racing down towards turn 4 and turn 5. A left right chicane here. You really want to make sure you really take a big chunk out of the curbs here and really get over those. The 1-1 suspension is going to really help you out through there. And now we go in towards Lesmo 1, and just breaking off the 50-meter board, down a couple of gears, keep a nice tight line, let the car run wide but not too wide onto the curb, and then really attack that inside curb on the second Lesmo there. There's a lot of time to gain there. I didn't quite get the apex, but overall so far so good as we open up the DRS onto the back straight, using some overtake mode here to really maximise the speed. And now into Ascari, brake as the curb appears on the right hand side, throw the car in. I have a second correction there because I turned in too early. Luckily we get a good exit and a good line through Ascari there, and overall not too bad. A little bit of a oversteer moment on the exit, but still pretty clean nonetheless, as we now race down towards Parabolica, looking for the 50-meter board as our reference point. Brake just before it, down to 5th gear, patience on the throttle as Seb sets the pace there, 19.3. Can we try and get anywhere near that, up to the line, use an overtake? Do we improve? And we do go P1 momentarily. Really, really good lap there in our first run. And in the second run, Hamilton was actually quickest at the time, and my first sector was good. We improved by literally 3/4 of a tenth, and I went purple, but then I made a mistake here through the chicane and got too wild, too aggressive, and I lost 1.5 tenths, which was annoying because literally sectors 1 and 3, they were purple. Like you see now, if you look at the delta, I'm 1.5 tenths down, but I literally nailed the Ascari chicane. I absolutely hit it perfectly as we drop down to P3. Devon Butler now up to P2, and Seb is also going to improve, I believe, very shortly into the top 3 as Lewis improves his lap there to a 19.1, and there we are, we're P4 now. But you can see in the delta, we pretty much got a delta back to neutral, and if I just matched my middle sector and done that purple 1 and 3, I think we would have had pole, to be honest with you. It's a real shame because the first and third sector I absolutely got them spot on, and the second sector wasn't too bad, to be fair. But overall, you can see the gap, and overall, not too bad. I'm quite happy with that, to be fair, because I didn't think I had that kind of pace, and it kind of came out of nowhere. I actually surprised myself, to be fair. And overall, P4 for us is a good result. Would have liked to have at least got one of the Mercedes, but still, we are in amongst it with the big boys, and hopefully we can try and do something better in the race tomorrow. Lewis Hamilton starts from pole, Sebastian Vettel P2, and Devon Butler P3. Let's see what we can do. We are from P4 tomorrow in the race, and fingers crossed we can try and put on a show for the home fans here in Italy. With that being said, though, let's jump into things here for round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix and Ferrari's home race. Let's do this.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Räikkönen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. We have a really close scrap at the top of the championship at the moment, and they're right in the thick of it. But any mistake now could be disastrous. They must be starting to feel the pressure at this point, Ant. Surely. There's a real shot at the title on the cards here, but one error at the wrong time, well, that could throw it all away.
Of course, there's never a good time to make mistakes, but it will feel 10 times worse if it happens at such a critical point of the season. Let's hope this contest is settled where it should be, on track, wheel to wheel.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Martinez, Weber, Max Verstappen and Perez, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, Stroll, Russell, Devon Butler and Raikkonen, Kubica, Giovinazzi, Daniel Kvyat and Lando Norris. Sainz and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid, and with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, so here we are on the grid then for the Italian Grand Prix, our home race, Ferrari's home race, and we start from P3 on the grid. A couple of penalties here and there, and we've been promoted a little bit higher up on the grid, but we're still starting a little bit further down than I would like, and we are starting behind Sebastian Vettel. So the target is simple. I want to win this race. I need it for the championship after Spa last time. It wasn't a good race for us, and I need the points. So the pressure's on, and also if we get a 1-2 for Ferrari, that'd be fantastic. In terms of the strategy though, on screen, we're going to try and go for a soft medium. If not, I'll switch to a soft hard. It's not a big deal, and I think the pace won't be too bad, either way. Fuel wise, we're going to run 1 lap extra fuel. So with that being said, no rain expected, a pretty straightforward race, and then we're going to see how we get on then here in this race in Ferrari's backyard. It's time for round number 14 here for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's jump into it. Right, here we go. The 5 red lights come on here at the temple of speed. And it's lights out and away we go. It's not a good start from us. Pretty poor getaway. We're going to be challenged here down towards turn 1 by quite a few cars. We're going to have to go quite late on the brakes. Quite a ballsy. Lucas Weber down the inside there, sending one on Seb. Luckily Seb stays in front. We're going to get a good exit there and also stay in front of Weber as well. So overall, not too bad. Not a great start, but not terrible. Lewis does get away quite nicely. Devon Butler, I'm not really sure where he stands at the minute, but he's obviously behind us. We're going to see how the pace is, and let's see if we can try and keep up with the front two. Hopefully have better race pace than in Belgium, of course. Hopefully though, we can try and re-catch Lewis. That's the main thing. Slipstreamer here is so important because it really makes people stick together, so it's important for us to not lose the toe on Sebastian and try and stay competitive. Weber's all over the back of me here, looking for a move. I'm going to just crank it up to overtake and block him off a little bit there, my former teammate from F2, and stay in front for now. Making sure we just feel comfortable with the car here on lap 1 with the extra fuel, and then hopefully we'll start to find the confidence and push a little bit later on. But for now, so far so good. At the minute, Lewis is not messing around. He's really going for this, and he's got some great pace. He's got a nice gap out front. At the minute, Seb isn't really catching. We've got cars behind us as well, and they're holding a slipstream. So at the minute, it seems like both myself and Seb are struggling for race pace early on in this Ferrari, it seems. Maybe that will change later on. Lewis set the pace there, 22.5. We do a 23.1.
DRS is now enabled and will be available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone.
Yep, cheers Jeff. So at the minute, it's looking like we might have to make an overtake here on Seb, to be honest. I was hoping he could chase after Lewis, but I think he's struggling for pace here, so we might have to make a move on my own teammate here. Okay, then out the second Lesmo, we'll have DRS on Seb here. I'm not going to pass him, I'm going to just keep the engine turned down for now. We'll have a little look at him later on, probably on the pit straight. I'm going to run Lee Mix and non-ERS to try and save a little bit. As we go for Ascari, we'll probably pass him on the pit straight, make it nice and straightforward, nice and simple when it comes to an overtake. So let's just try and stay within range here. I'm going to crank up the engine a little bit now into standard mode, keep it in low ERS, try and keep that battery nicely charged up. Into Parabolica here again, nice and easy, let's not overdo it. Now we've got the power, and now Rich Mix alone. Let's see if we've got enough here to pass Seb. I think he's actually turned up the engine here a little bit, so we're going to have to turn up the engine of our own. Let's see, here we go, we're gaining on Sebastian here. Down towards turn 1. Seb very late on the brakes, to be fair, and he holds on for now. Good defensive driving. Places his car quite well. We're going to get a nice exit though. Very nice bit of traction there, and we're going to get a nice strong toe through Curva Grande. We're going to get the run alongside Sebastian here. Around the outside. A little bit of contact in the process, but we do get the move done around the outside. Seb's going to try and snap back straight away. Down the inside of Lesmo. We've got to be careful here. Leave the room, obviously teammates. This is awkward though. This is a huge loss of time and giving Hamilton a massive advantage. We are going to be in front for now, but Sebastian's going to have DRS here. Can we stay in front? Perez is getting stuck in as well in the racing point. We are going to stay in front of Sebastian, which is good. Although Perez sends one down the inside and he just pushes us off the track. Perez, what the hell was that? And we've lost the back end here on these tyres. All over the place. I'm trying to collect myself. What the hell was that though? Perez absolutely just sending one down the inside there. We're down to P7 now. Disaster. Absolute disaster here. At least Seb's now back to P2, which is good. My gut tells me Perez picked up damage by hitting me into that corner last lap. But at the minute, we're on the back foot here. And a strategy change is tempting. I might pit earlier, go for the hards, try and undercut everyone in front and try and set a couple of strong laps. We'll see how we get on though. If I can get past these guys on these tyres in the next 2 laps or so, then I'll stick with the original strategy. If not, I might go for a bit of a strategy change. But for now, they've all got DRS, so it's kind of hard for me to really make inroads. I need them to kind of battle a bit, and that's where I'm going to gain a lot of time. There you go, they're all really battling here quite aggressively. Down towards turn number 1. We're going to catch up a lot here in the process. Ricardo, Verstappen, they're former teammates, side by side, Perez and Weber as well. This is my chance now to really close the gap, so let's try and get a nice toe here. Here we are then, tucked in behind Danny Rick. Personal best first sector. All over the back of the Renault. We're going to try and go around the outside of Lesmo. 1, and there we go, we just pick it up around the outside. Fantastic overtake. Job done there. Up next, Max Verstappen.
Nice work, that brings you up the place.
Cheers, Jeff. Let's try and get a nice toe on Max here. Ricardo will have a toe on me, but no chance of him outpowering this Ferrari. Perez and Weber side by side. There's contact. Oh my god, the Red Bulls collide. We go around the outside of Perez there. We get the position, but there's end plate damage there on Weber's car. I'm pretty sure I saw end plate come off Weber's car there. We're going to get a nice run here on the Red Bull. We're going to try and pass him into Parabolic if we can. Down the inside, Verstappen a little bit early on the brakes there. Luckily we don't hit him. We lock up on the front right. But there we go. We've made some good moves now. And hopefully now we'll pass Verstappen here for P3.
Careful on the tyres. Our data is showing some wear. Most likely you'll be able to feel it.
Yep, no worries. There we go. Job done. Pass Verstappen back into P3. And after that incident a few laps ago, we're back where we were. Now let's try and pull away from these guys and try and leave them in our dust and try and catch up to Seb once again. In the meantime though, Lewis has a huge advantage out front. He's not messed around this race. He's had a good start and he's had a very relentless pace. 20 laps to go. Can we get anything out of this race and try and win it for the Scuderia? Let's find out. Fuel and the DRS are quite low, so which is not ideal. Burnt them off quite a bit quicker than I expected to. The good news is we've left everyone behind now, so we're by ourselves. We are slowly catching Seb, but the tyres are pretty worn out and the grip is pretty poor, so it's all going to happen now in this next kind of strategy phase and the pit stops and what happens in the final part of the race. At the minute I can't see us winning the race. It's going to come down to just strategy and who gets P2. I think it's going to be a battle between the 2 Ferraris. Right then, through Parabolica nice and easy. We're going to pit in now. A pretty decent first in considering the issues we've had. We're going to get it all slowed down and there we go. Nice and easy into the pit lane, not rushing it, not risking anything. Devin Butler's now P4, so with that penalty he's made his way through the field. Here we go then. Good stop boys, come on. Please, a nice good stop. There we go.
Complete, go now.
Good stuff, 2.1. We didn't get held up, which is crucial. And now we need a little bit of clean air to try and work in, which is what I want. There is some traffic up the road, so we'll see how that one pans out. But here we go then, up to speed.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Yep, no more stops. P16, we've got both of the Toro Rossos, so I think a Toro Rosso and a McLaren in front. Battling away here, just going to take it easy on these tyres, make sure we don't overdo it on the cold tyres, and then we'll try and find our confidence as the lap goes on. Let's see if we can try and undercut Sebastian now on this lap. This is going to make things very awkward. Norris and Albon battling away, former F2 rivals from last season. I need to make my way through. So we're going to use a little bit of rich mix here. Albon's got DRS, Norris doesn't. Norris is defenceless, we're going to try and go for the 2-for-1 pass. Down the inside into Ascari on Alex Albon there. We're going to go for the squeeze and make the move.
Sebastian is in the pits.
So there we go, Seb's in. Let's keep pushing here, use up the rest of our rich mix if we need to make sure we maximise this out lap. Into Parabolica then. Nice and tidy through there, on the power, nice and easy, there we go. Right then, there's going to be lots of cars in the pit lane. But let's see where Seb is. He's leaving the pit exit now, I think we might have a chance here. There he is. He is a little bit further ahead than I thought, but he's going to be on cold tyres. Lewis, crucially, is in front of all this traffic, which is a little bit annoying.
The gap behind us is 6.9 seconds.
And I just picked up a warning there for a track extension for cutting turn 1. Good news is, though, on the cold tyres, Seb's defenceless here. He's vulnerable. We're going to get a nice run down towards the chicane. We'll sit back for now. I'm not going to commit or overdo it just yet. We'll wait for the DRS. We'll play it nice and safe. I don't want to make the same mistake as last time and go side by side for half a lap, because that was too much time loss for the pair of us. Okay, just like that. Seb breezes past Grosjean. Hopefully now we can pass him as well. Power down. I want to go to the inside here, but I don't know if Grosjean's going to pit or not. And he does. That was a little bit awkward there. We've lost a lot of ground to Sebastian, which is annoying. We're back to P3 though. Everyone's pitting. Butler's leaving the pit lane. Lewis out front. Now let's see what pace we have on these tyres. And can we make something happen in this final stint? Can we catch Lewis, who's had a fantastic race so far? Or is the battle for P2 going to be between the two Ferraris? And can Devon Butler get involved? He's going to have the freshest mediums out of anybody. So maybe he can get involved in the scrap.
Car behind has boxed for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
Well, personal best, we're just sitting behind Sebastian at the minute. I'm trying to save a little bit of fuel in the ERS before I make my move. I'm not in a rush. I want to make sure I time this perfectly and make it stick the next time I try. And don't fail my attempt, because third time's the charm. Okay, it's time to make a move. We've saved up some fuel and some ERS. It's now time to strike. Pretty average exit at the final corner, I've got to be honest. But we are going to now be a lot closer than we have been. Rich mix and hot lap mode, and this should be
Mix 2. Fuel to mix 2.
a pretty straightforward move on Sebastian. And there we go, up to P2 now. Now, can we pull away? That's another track extension there again. Turn 1 catching me out. Got to be careful with that. I'm on my final warning now, so I can't do that anymore. I've got to take a little bit more cautious through 1. But let's see if we can try and stretch Sebastian here and see if we have any pace to pull away with. Okay, personal best, 22.6, but unfortunately we pick up that extension. Gap to Vettel 9/10. We're stretching him here. We might have opened up the DRS gap. One more strong lap like that, and I think Seb won't be able to keep up. There we go. We've cleared Seb's DRS. We match our personal best, gap 1.2. Lewis is 10 seconds up the road with 10 laps to go. Can we catch him? It's going to be tricky. I think he's got a big enough gap, to be honest, but we'll give it a go and see what we can do. Another good lap there, matching our personal best. Gap to Lewis 9.5. That was a very good lap from us, actually, and we made some good progress. Looks like Devon Butler's got good pace as well. He's catching up to Sebastian. Personal best from us though, 22.8. Another 8/10 gain from Lewis. Gap down to 8.7. We are catching. Can we keep this up though for the rest of the race? That's the question. Let's keep going though. Keep our head down. Very good pace from us. The best I've felt so far with my new wheel. Car feels great. We've got a strong pace. Let's keep pushing. The only problem I've got now is I'm needing to save fuel in the ERS, which is a little bit annoying. So we might stop catching at the rate we were. I'm starting to struggle my tyres a little bit now. The fact that mine are the oldest out of the top 4 is starting to show. As I'm losing pace quite a bit. I'm also trying to manage my fuel in the ERS even still. It's just about trying to keep Seb behind now, to be honest, and secure the second place. Ooh, Alex Albon retires in the Toro Rosso right at the end there. Obviously that's not going to trigger any safety cars or VSCs, but either way then, here we are, last lap of the Grand Prix. Just all about bringing it home. As we enter the yellow flag zone, where Alex Albon was, of course, where he just retired from the Grand Prix. You'll see him.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
Yep, there he is on the right hand side, and out of the race for him, as Lewis Hamilton is going to win the Italian Grand Prix here in our backyard.
Green flag. We're racing again.
We're going to come through the Parabolica though, and P2, not too bad. Grande lavoro, grazie ragazzi. Non abbiamo la velocità, però grazie. Grande lavoro.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
2 laps. 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 2 laps
Right, so looking at the final race results, Lewis Hamilton wins the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. We come home P2, Sebastian Vettel P3, making it a 2-3 for Ferrari and a 1-4 for Mercedes, but they're actually going to outscore us in this weekend, which is disappointing to be fair. Daniel Ricciardo P5, really good result for him in the Renault ahead of Sergio Perez. Nico Hulkenberg, George Russell P8 in the Williams, what a performance from him. And then Lance Stroll and Lucas Weber P10, and Lucas Weber I believe with that wing damage like we said before in that battle. And then Magnussen, Verstappen as well out of the points in P12, Raikkonen, Sainz, Kubica, Kvyat, Grosjean, Norris, Giovinazzi and Alex Albon retired from the Grand Prix on that last lap. In terms of what that race is going to mean though for the Drivers and Constructors Championship, let's find out. First of all, the Drivers Championship, Lewis Hamilton goes into Singapore at the end of the European season and is 17 points clear of Sebastian Vettel and 42 points clear of myself. Devon Butler P4, he's slowly but surely drifting away here, and Devon won the last race in Spa, but he's going to need a couple more race wins to really get himself back into contention for the World Championship. In terms of the Constructors though, we still lead in the Constructors and we are 12 points clear of the Silver Arrows, who cut down our lead a little bit in this race, but overall a decent one for us and no major points lost. We're now going to move into the laptop and put some upgrades into the car, more specifically reliability upgrades, and we're going to see if we can try and improve that front of the Ferrari, and fingers crossed it all goes well and nothing fails going to Singapore. With that being said, let's jump into the laptop. Okay, so we are on the laptop and we currently are looking at the engine, and to be fair, I've gone through all the components and the one that's looking the most worn out is the MGU-H. Therefore, we have 1,600 points to spend, so we should have enough for 2 upgrades, and the first one's going to be for the MGU-H, so we're going to get that upgraded on the car, which is one of the 2 parts that haven't been upgraded yet. That should be on the car for Singapore, and we should have enough points to do the air upgrade that failed on this race for the car, and we'll have 411 points left over, and we don't have enough for one more upgrade, so we're going to save those points and spend them in the next episode. But if you guys did enjoy this video guys and this episode of my F1 2019 career mode, then drop a like on the video and get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and turn on notifications to not miss a video from me. Finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one very soon, but until then, it's goodbye from me.